Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Prashanti Mataji, please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Mataji, whenever you are ready, you can please start, Mataji.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam
22, 130.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirate. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकीम्. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 23, The Dynasties of the Sons of Yayati, from text 1 to 38. Text 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, Anu, the fourth son of Yayati, had three sons, named Sabhandara, Chakshu, and Parneshu. O king, from Shubhanara came the son named Kalanara, and from Kalanara came the son named Srinjaya. Text 2. From Srinjaya came a son named Janmejaya. From Janmejaya came Mahashala, and from Mahashala Mahamana, and from Mahamana two sons named Ushirna and Titikshu. Text 3 to 4. The four sons of Ushrinara were Sibi, Vara, Krimi, and Daksha. And from Sibi again came four sons named Ushadarbha, Sudhira, Madra, and Atmatattva with Kikaya. The son of Titikshu was Rushadatra. From Rushadatra came Homa. From Homa, Sutapa, and from Sutapa, Bali. Text 5. By the semen of Dirgatama, in the wife of Bali, the emperor of the world, 6 sons took birth, namely Anga, Vanga, Kalinga, Shukma, Pundra, and Odra. Text 6. The 6 sons headed by Anga later became kings of 6 states in the eastern side of India. These states were known according to the names of their respective kings. From Anga came a son named Kalapana, and from Kalapana came Divirata. Text 7 to 10. From Divirata came a son named Dharmaratna, and his son was Chitraratha, who was celebrated as Romapada. Romapada, however, was without issue, and therefore his friend Maharaja Dasharatha gave him his own daughter named Santha. Romapada accepted her as his daughter, and therefore she married Raja Rayashringa. And when the demigods from the heavenly planets failed to shower rain, Rishashringa was appointed the priest for performing a sacrifice after being brought from the forest by the allurement of prostitutes who danced, staged theatrical performances accomplished by music, and embraced and worshipped him. After Rishashringa came, the rain fell. Thereafter, Rishashringa performed a sun-giving sacrifice on behalf of Maharaja Dasharatha, who had no issue, and then Maharaja Dasharatha had sons. From Romapada, by the mercy of Rishashringa, Chaturanga was born, and from Chaturanga came Prudulaksha. Text 11. The sons of Prudulaksha were Brihadrita, Karma, and Bruhadbhanu. From the eldest Bruhadratha came the son named Brahmana, and from Brahmana came a son named Jayadratha. Text 1. The son of Jayadratha by the womb of his wife Shambhuti was Vijaya, and from Vijaya Dhriti was born. From Dhriti came Dhrutavarta, and from Dhrutavarta Satkarma, and from Satkarma Adhiratha. Text 30. While playing on the bank of the Ganges, Adhiratha found a baby wrapped in the basket. The baby had been left by Kunti because he was born before she was married. Because Adhiratha had no sons, he raised this baby as his own. This son was later known as Karna. Text 14. O king, the only son of Karna was Vrushasena. Dhruya, the third son of Yayati, had a son named Bharu, and from the son of Bharu was known as Setu. Text 15. The son of Setu was Arbdha, and from Arbdha's son was Gandhara, and from Gandhara's son was Dharma. Dharma's son was Dhriti. Dhriti's son was Durmada, and from Durmada's son was Pracheta, who had 100 sons. Text 16. The Prachetas, the son of Pracheta, occupied the northern side of India, which was devoid of Vedic civilization, and became kings there. Yayati's second son was Turvasu. The son of Turvasu was Vahni. The son of Vahni, Bharga. The son of Bharga, Bhanuman. Text 17. The son of Bhanuman was Tribhanu, and his son was the magnanimous Karandharma. Karandharma's son was Maruta, who had no sons and who therefore adopted a son of the Puru dynasty, Maharaja Dushmanta, and his own as his own. Text 18 to 19. Maharaja Dushmanta, desiring to occupy the throne, returned to his original dynasty, the Puru dynasty, even though he had accepted Maruta as his father. O Maharaja Parikshit, let me now describe the dynasty of Yadu, the eldest son of Maharaja Yayati. This description is supremely pious, and it vanquishes the reactions of sinful activities in human society. Simply by hearing this description, one is free from all sinful reactions. Text 20 to 21. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the Supersoul in the hearts of all living entities, descended in his original form as a human being in the dynasty or family of Yadu. Yadu had 4 sons named Sahasrajita, Korstha, Nala, and Ripu. Of these 4, the eldest, Sahasrajit, had a son named Satajit, who had 3 sons named Mahahaya, Renuhaya, and Haihaya. Text 22. The son of Haihaya was Dharma, and the son of Dharma was Netra, the father of Kunti. From Kunti came a son named Sohanji. From Sohanji came Mahishma, and from Mahishma, Bhadrashankha. Text 23. The sons of Bhadrashankha was known as Durma and Dhanaka. Dhanaka was the father of Kritavirya and also of Kritangi, Kritavarma, and Krutauja. Text 24. The son of Kritavirya was Arjuna. He Kartivirya Arjuna became the emperor of the entire world, consisting of 7 islands, and Dattatreya, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, he obtained the mystic perfections known as Astasiddhi. Ashtasiddhi. Text 25. No other king in the world could equal Kartavirya in sacrifices, charity, austerity, mystic power, education, strength, or mercy. Text 26. For 85,000 years, Kartavirya continuously enjoyed material opulences with full bodily strength and unimpaired memory. In other words, he enjoyed inexhaustible material opulences with his six senses. Text 27. Of the 1,000 sons of Kartavirya, only 5 remained alive after the fight with Parashurama. Their names were Jayadhavja, Surasena, Rishabha, Madhu, and Vrujita. Text 28. Jayadhavja had a son named Talajangha, who had 100 sons. All the Kshatriyas in that dynasty known as Talajangha were annihilated by the great power received by Maharaja Sagara from Aruva Rishi. Text 29. Of the sons of Talanjana, Vritihotra was the eldest. The son of Vritihotra named Madhu had a celebrated son named Vrishni. Madhu had 100 sons, of whom Vrishni was the oldest. The dynasties known as Yadava, Madhava, and Vrishni had their origin from Yadu, Madhu, and Vrishni. Text 30 to 31. O Maharaja Parikshit, because Yadu, Madhu, and Vrishni each inaugurated a dynasty, their dynasties are known as Yadava, Madhava, and Vrishni. The son of Yadu named Kroshtha had a son named Vrijinvan. The son of Vrijinvan was Satahita, the son of Swahita, Vishadguru, the son of Vishadguru, Chitraratha, and the son of Chitraratha, Sesabindu. The greatly fortunate Sesabindu, who had a great mystic, possessed 14 opulences and was the owner of 14 great jewels. Thus, he became the emperor of the world. Text 32. The famous Sesabindu had 10,000 wives. By each he begot a lakh of sons. Therefore, the number of his sons was 10,000 lakhs. Text 33. Among these many sons, 6 were the foremost, such as Pruthusvara and Pruthukriti. The son of Pruthuksvara was known as Dharma, and his son was known as Ushana. Ushana was the performer of 100 horse sacrifices. Text 34. The son of Rushana was Ruchaka, who had 5 sons, Purujit, Rukma, Rukmeshu, Pruthu, and Jayamakha. Please hear of these sons from me. Text 35 to 36. Jayamakha had no sons, but because he was fearful of his wife, Saibha, he had not accepted another wife. Jayamakha once took from the house of some royal enemy a girl who was a prostitute, but upon seeing her, Saibha was very angry and said to her husband, "My husband, you're cheated. Who is this girl sitting upon my seat on the chariot?" Jayamakha then replied, "This girl will be your daughter-in-law." Upon hearing these joking words, Saibhya smilingly replied. Text 37. Saibhya said, "I am subtle and have no co-wife. How can this girl be my daughter-in-law? Please tell me." Jayamakha replied, "My dear queen, I shall see that you indeed have a son and that this girl will be your daughter-in-law." Text 38. Long ago, Jayamakha had satisfied the demigods and Pitas by worshipping them. Now their mercy, Jayamagha's words came true. Although Saibhya was barren by the grace of the demigods, she became pregnant and in due course of time gave birth to a child named Vidarbha. Before the child's birth, the girl had been accepted as a daughter-in-law, and therefore Vidarbha actually married her when he grew up. Thus ends the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 20. Please forgive me for the mistakes which I have read in between the words. My apologies. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading translations today. Hare Krishna, Sri Krishna Das Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All voice to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Prabhuji, please take over the call, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you are in mute, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you are in mute, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradari Kripamudittamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. So today we are seeing this lineage of Yayati Maharaj. So Sukadeva Goswami is elaborating here so many lineage of kings. We'll see some of the names very famous, and also the incarnation of Supreme Personality Godhead. There were some of the names mentioned here. We'll just see some highlights today. So King Yayati had, totally he had five sons. So of this, Sukadeva Goswami is starting to elaborate from a son named Anu, and then later on he's describing about Yadu, who is also one of his sons. So we all know how King Yayati was cursed with old age, and then four of his sons refused to give him exchange their youth. So when he was cursed, he was given a relief that when one of your sons could exchange, then you could actually come out of this old age. So, but his youngest son Puru, he agreed, and he agreed to exchange, and then he reclaimed his youth. So after that, the dynasty was named as Puru dynasty. So even though Yadu was very devotional, and because the reason he said that life is short, that I want to utilize my life for purification. So that is one of the reason that he didn't exchange. So in this chapter we can see how these lineage, there were several kings. They were very powerful, like Kartaviri Arjuna. He was also an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and then eventually in the Yadu dynasty, later on, Lord Krishna himself takes birth, and he basically appears. And when Lord appears, he appears with the entire spiritual paraphernalia. So even though he has no father and mother, he appears as if he accepts one father and mother. He appears as if he has friends, relatives, So all the etiquettes of the normal human being he follows, and he even bewilders the common people, thinking that, sometimes common people cannot understand, those who are atheistic. they try to deride that he's a normal human being. So that is the Maya Shakti. The Lord actually puts a curtain in the front of his powerful energies so that common people does not know him. So Kunti even says, um, even in her prayers also, she says that how that Maya Shakti is covering Krishna, and he is basically Nato Natyadaro Yataha. He is basically just acting as a drama actor behind the curtain. When the curtain is closed, nobody knows what is happening. So only by the mercy of the Lord we can actually see what is really happening. So, but He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose from Him everything is emanating. So, in this chapter, we can see the dynasties. There were several powerful kings were mentioned. So, in this lineage, there were also uh, Chitraratha, and then so he was celebrated as Romapada. So, and then his Maharaj, he was a friend of Maharaj Dashrath, and he later on married Rishashringa, her daughter married Rishashringa, and then demigods were. So Rishashringa was appointed as a priest for performing a sacrifice. And then eventually the name of Adiratha is also mentioned. So Adiratha, we know the Adiratha was basically one who adopted the son of Kunti, the first son of Kunti, who was he was celebrated as Karna. So he was born with the Kundala and Kavacha. So he was also known as Karna. So he was adopted by Adiratha and Radha. So he was the charioteer for the the dynasty of um, Dhritarashtra, and in the dynasty, he was basically they didn't had any children, and they found this baby was floating on Mother Ganges river, and then they adopted. So that Adiratha is also coming in the lineage of the Yatis lineage here. We can see, and then later on the Prachetas on the northern side of India, they were actually ruling. They were also is mentioned here. So and then Yayati's second son, Turuvasa's dynasty, also Sukadeva Goswami elaborates. Basically, all the five sons, he is giving the lineage. So, in the second son, Turuvasa's dynasty, the famous Puru dynasty, and then the Yadu, the dynasty of Yadu, is also mentioned later on. So in the Yadu dynasty, now Sukadeva Goswami is giving a little bit of hint, what is so special about Yadu dynasty. So when he starts elaborating, he says, uh, in the 18th and 19th verses, he says, Sarva papai pramuchyate. So he's giving a hint that, the Yadu dynasty is very, very pious. And just by hearing this pastimes of Yadu dynasty, one can free from all sinful activities, sinful reactions, and then completely freed, pramuchyate. Um, so, and also Sarva Papa Haram Nirnam. So Nirnam is so Sarva Papa Haram, like I think normally that the haram is used by Muslims also, like they say sin, right? So we can completely come out of all reactions of sinful activities. Niranam is like the human beings, Nara, and, all the human beings by the piety of the Lord's activities. So what kind of activities? These activities are Mahapunyam, supremely pious, and Varnayami. So this is then now. So he's going to describe all this activities which are all completely pious. These are transcendental activities. So here the Yadu dynasty, Krishna is celebrated as Yadava, right? So because of the Yadu dynasty. So Queen Kunti also gives this example. Malaya eva chandanam, like the chandan trees can appear anywhere, but since it appears from the Malaysia side forest, it is called Malaya eva chandanam. So Krishna can appear in any dynasty, but then he wanted to glorify Yadu dynasty, and then because of that reason, Krishna appeared in the Yadu dynasty. So that is the reason he is called Yadava. So now here, the way Krishna, many people cannot understand Krishna. Just like I said, he is covered by that Maya potency. So what is the qualification to understand Krishna? Right. So the real qualification one has to have. The Srimad Bhagavatam, starts in the first verse like that. After very many births of human being, how atato brahma jignasa. So one has to come to the point of really inquiring what is Brahman. So then Prabhupada quotes many examples from Bhagavad Gita saying that. So one has to question, why am I here? What is birth? What is death? Where am I going after death? What is the purpose of life? For such a person to understand the real value of life, um, for such a person, the door is wide open and he can actually come and inquire from the perfect realized, self-realized person about the Supreme Lord. So until one comes to the point of asking these valid questions, then he's not a right candidate to understand about Krishna. So then he's superficially, they may try to say God, so many things about God, but they're really not interested in understanding. So the Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabhyate. So the Lord actually comes in three different aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So here the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna is appearing as a Bhagavan with his original form, and in front of Mother Devaki and Vasudev, he actually appeared in the four-handed Narayana form. And then, because Mother Devaki was praying that, you promise that you will actually be you will be born as a baby. And she prayed, and then Krishna just changed into a form of a baby Krishna. So the Lord is always, supreme, regardless of how he appears. So in this case, the Lord is appearing in the form that is Sachitananda Vigraha form. It's fully spiritual, and people cannot understand. So they just compare with the human being. So only very 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 pious people and very very pure, they can understand Krishna in truth, Tattvataha. So Manushyanam Saharsheshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tattvataha. So that in truth, to understand Krishna in truth is only those who are very pious and very pure, those they can understand. Like there are thousands and thousands of people, like Earth planet has like 6, 7, 8 billion people. And of that, those who are trying to understand what is Shastra, what is Vedas, they'll read the Vedas, they'll read the Shastras. And those who understood Shastras, some of them would practice it. And those who practice it, some of them would achieve perfection. And those who achieve perfection, some of them would actually come to know who is really Krishna is. So that is a portion of Krishna. So unnecessarily people, those who are atheistic and those who are do not understand God, they just try to say that I am so and so religion. They try to criticize the Lord, but no one can actually touch the Lord. So people basically say, human being, just like a father and mother, he is born, but no one can actually criticize the Lord. He is above all our criticisms. So the Lord, when people, Krishna himself says, Avajananti ma muda, they are actually thinking that Manusham Tanum Arshitam, because he is a human being, he came as a human being. Those are fools who will just deride the Lord, but they do not know is Param Bhavam Ajanantam, is basically transcendental nature. So his body is completely transcendental, and Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. So this Bhuta, like the form that we see, is completely transcendental. So they cannot understand, and also they, even the philosophers, what to speak of atheists, even the impersonalist Mayavada philosophers, they have certain piety, but still they cannot understand the Lord. So it is very difficult, because the Lord, when he assumes this form of human form, he performs several activities which are bewildering. When Lord was leaving Dwaraka, he was paying obeisances to Queen Kunti. He was touching her feet as a matter of etiquette. These things we cannot even understand. The Supreme Lord is touching, somebody else's feet, and he is actually, as a charioteer of Arjuna, he is taking a humble position of uh, taking Arjuna in all chariots. So there are several things we cannot even understand unless we enter into the mystic activities of the Lord by the power of bhakti. So, that's why this Brahma Samhita also, Lord Brahma says that Ekopi acho rachitam jagadanda kotim yachakti jagadanda chayada antantrastu paramanu sayantrastam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti swasoshu vashudati vibhuti binnam tad brahma nishkalam anantam asesha bhutam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So from his uh, body there are unlimited crores and crores of universes are coming out, so from the pores of Mahavishnu. So like that, the Lord's power is impersonal. Brahmajyoti consists, is from his body, the whole impersonal Brahmajyoti is emanating. So that's why it is very difficult to understand the Lord, but it is possible to understand by the power of the mercy of the Vaishnavas and mercy of the Lord himself. So Yashya Prasadar Bhagavat Prasado. So the like that, when the Lord is pleased, he will be actually able to send us a representative from whom we can understand about the mystic powers of the Lord. So all of these can be really understood. So in this lineage of Yadu dynasty, we're going to see there are a lot of kings would actually eventually appear, and then later on, so how the Nanda Maharaj, so all of them names would appear, and then eventually Shukadeva Goswami would elaborate in the 10th canto about the whole pastimes of Krishna. So here also we see that how Kartavirya Arjuna was also mentioned. So he was very, very powerful, and he's also an incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, it was mentioned how he's equal. He's when the whole Kshatriyas were being annihilated by Parshuram. So Kartavirya Arjuna, he was is one of the few kings. They could not be annihilated. They were very powerful. So he was able to defend, and no one was equal to him in terms of charity, austerity, power, strength. Even Daya is also mentioned. Is very merciful. So and then eventually after the Kartavirya Arjuna, there are several kings. The other kings mentioned was Dayadvaja, Surashena, Vrishaba, Madhu, and Urjita. So only these kings, they could not be, when Parashurama was annihilated, only these kings were remaining. So including Kartavirya Arjuna. So later on, in this chapter, we can see that it was mentioned that how the dynasties of Madhu and Vrishni were also celebrated. So that's why these dynasties were called Yadava, Madhava, and Vrishni. So, but they all have come from the Yadu dynasty, Yadu, Madhu, and Vrishni dynasty. So, and then concluding these verses, in the end, we can see that the king, there was one king named Jayamaga. So Jayamaga was he was satisfying the demigods, and therefore by their mercy, he was um, given a benediction that his wife Saibya was become pregnant, and in the course of time, she is delivered a baby named Vidarbha. So we know the Vidarbha kingdom, all that was later on will come. So now this child was being accepted as a daughter-in-law, and then Vidarbha actually married her when he grew up. So this concludes the chapter 23. In the chapter 24, we would see it's titled as the Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we will see how Vidarbha had his lineage, sons, and then eventually how this dynasty expands, and then Lord manifests, the Surashena and all the other kings would manifest. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vranda ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vanchakalpatrubhyasya kripa sindhubhyev vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.